when the light bulb I am changing slips through my fingers and explodes in the sink, like a dream that I once had for myself that was shattered the same way by reality. I turn the faucet and I watch as the water takes the tiny frozen spasms of glass down the steel throat of the sink. Because I want that sink to feel like I do. 1 in 5 teens suffer from at least one form of mental illness. This can include severe depression, to severe anxiety, to substance abuse, and much more. Rates of young people having severe depression alone have increased from 5% in 2012 to 8% in 2015, and the numbers are only increasing. Life isn't easy for us teens. We go through the everyday problems that everyone goes through at one point in their lives, but we are told that our problems don't matter because we're still so young and we don't know what real problems feel like. I want society to change the way it views teenage mental illness. I want people to realize that teenagers have real problems too. In 12 Bowls of Glass by Bucky Sinister, we see mental illness take root into the minds and lives of seemingly normal teens. I was in a restaurant with a mirror for one wall. You know, this lady, she kisses the mirror, and I had never seen anyone do this in public. And when she did it again, I started to laugh. And she turns around and says, "What?" And so I said, "Do you kiss the mirror when you're alone too, or just when you're in public?" And she said, "When she's alone too. And not only that she kisses a mirror, but her toaster too." Which had burned her lips. You know, people talk about homeless people and others who talk to themselves are crazy. But the real lunatics are the ones with mirrors and toasters and bread to put in their toasters and walls to hang their mirrors on and lipstick for which to leave prints on reflective surfaces. You know, but if you crazies have to kiss something, well, you can kiss one of us. We will feel it. It will make a difference. Some of the clouds can even go away, and maybe even a few of us will quit talking to ourselves. It's a wonder. 2 blackbirds sitting on a power line, smoking a cigarette, and one says to the other, "Hey man, we should make like the humans do. We should fly so low to the ground. We should live in their houses, eat from their tables." And with that, he flicked the cigarette butt into the rear end of a convertible parked below, and they watched as the upholstery caught on fire. And the one says back to the other, "No, man, you got it all wrong. We should fly so low to the ground, or we should fly so high. We should fly so high, and we should see what altitudes we could reach. We should try to fly through the hole in the ozone layer." And with that, they began to argue. They fought and fought, filled themselves with so much hate that they became so human, they electrocuted themselves. It's a wonder we all aren't. You know, the reason we never worked out was due to the nature of our relationship. I could equate it to a deer looking into the headlights of an oncoming Buick. We gazed at one another in fascination, blind to the impending disaster. You know, if we had stayed together, well, we would have just been another roadkill. But what I never have figured out is who was the deer and who was the Buick. It's a wonder we all aren't screaming. There are things that I try so hard to forget, but forgetting them would be like forgetting that I have arms or legs. And when it all gets to be too much, my body is tired and my eyeballs feel as if they've gone stale. And I think to myself, God, help me. I'm dying in here. I'm dying in my own mind. And I look around at all the young professionals waiting to go home, crowding the subways, and I think, don't they know? Can't they smell me dying in here? Or maybe they don't even recognize the smell of death. Or maybe they don't recognize my smell of death over their own smell of sweat. But then again, I don't even know what death smells like. I assume it smells something like maggots. You know, when I was a child, I believed in magic. And I believed everything was magic, like a plate of warm cookies or a litter of puppies. But when I first saw a magician, my parents told me that there was no such thing as magic and that it was all just a trick. And now I know everything is a trick, but I don't know how to turn any of them. A real magician never reveals his secrets, or so I'm told. And so far, they're right. It's a wonder we all aren't screaming like madmen. You know, you get so alone sometimes. You would, catch a cockroach and put it in a bottle that you emptied by yourself and name it Mickey and talk to it for a few days until it dies. You get so alone sometimes that the cracks in your windows and the snags in your carpet are talking to you. And you open the refrigerator just to see the light turn on, but it's kind of like all the food quit talking when you open the door and wait until you shut it to start talking again. You get so alone sometimes that you feel like throwing all the mirrors out of your 4-story window. But it's the only person who ever seems to visit. You get so alone sometimes that you sit in the corner in the same clothes that you've been wearing for 3 days straight, making shadow pictures on the walls, singing songs that you barely know off key, making up most of the words. You get so alone sometimes that you don't even mind the way that you smell, which isn't even bad compared to the rest of the apartment. You get so alone sometimes that when you see two people talking together, you wonder what that feels like. You get so alone sometimes that when you come into this coffee house, you are by yourself. And I am by myself. And you want to sit with me. And I want you to sit with me. But we sit apart. And we pretend like we want this time to ourselves as we read a book or write in a paper or write in our journals, because you get so alone sometimes that you don't even think of things being any other way. It's a wonder we all aren't screaming like madmen in our... They say You have to eat 12 bowls of the leading brand cereal to get the nutrition you get from one bowl of total. Well, maybe you have to eat 12 bowls of glass to feel what you would get from one bowl of my life. It's a wonder we all aren't screaming like madmen in our sleep.